Good day, guys, and welcome to my hurricane forecast. In this forecast, I'm going to be talking about a possible tropical disturbance that might form in the Caribbean. So right now, we don't have anything labeled on the National Hurricane Center map, but we do have a disturbance that is already in the Caribbean. So this disturbance might get labeled by the National Hurricane Center extremely soon. Now the reason for that is because this system is really getting my attention lately, because this system is now getting, it's now getting the attention of the models, and also most people are, looking at this system because they say that it might be troubled in the future. And that's true because the majority of the models have picked up on this system so far. As a matter of fact, even the European model has picked up on this system. This system might form in the Western or Eastern Caribbean. Right now, I am seeing this system forming in the Western Caribbean. This system is expected to head towards the west within the next coming days, because this system is going to be getting steered by that high pressure. As this system is moving towards the west, it seems like environmental conditions may be somewhat favorable for some development of this system. As this system continues on that western path, areas like Central America, like Belize, Honduras, and the Yucatan Peninsula should monitor this system. I'm not saying that this system is definitely going to form, but of course, the models have picked up on this system and are being consistent on development on this system. It would not surprise me to see the National Hurricane Center label this system extremely soon, and that's because they might see this system trying to form. The models are showing by at least Friday we might have a tropical storm or a tropical depression in the Caribbean, and the environmental conditions are just right for us to see a system like that form. First things first is because the wind shear is going to be lighting up in the Caribbean, and there is not going to be much wind shear in the Caribbean. Also, another thing is there's going to be a decrease in the amount of Saharan dust that's going to be in the Caribbean. And remember, the two things that we usually look at to forecast these systems are wind shear and dry air. As we know, they usually impact the development of these systems a lot. So the way of how the wind shear impacts the system is that they do not allow the system to get organized, and they do not allow the system to get those negative 90 cloud tops, those high cloud tops, but instead wind shear blows apart the storm. Like generally it just blows the storm apart with the strong wind shear. So there's not wind shear at all in the Caribbean right now. As a matter of fact, there seems to be an upper level low that might be headed into the Caribbean that might make the wind shear favorable, which means that there might not be no wind shear in the Caribbean present as the system is going to be passing through. That's going to allow the system to intensify. Also, another thing is that this system is expected to head into a more warmer water temperatures, which means that the warm water temperatures are going to influence the development of the system. They're definitely going to allow the system to organize. Another thing is the dry air is somewhat favorable right now, and it's headed into an area that might be even more moist, which means that this system has those more environmental conditions to tap into, those favorable environmental conditions which would allow it to intensify. Therefore, we might see the system try to intensify within the coming days, although the system has not yet been labeled by National Hurricane Center as it continues to move towards the west. I do expect though the National Hurricane Center to get the attention from this system, because it has been showing signs that it might try to head into the Eastern Caribbean, the Western Caribbean, as the majority of the models show, and somewhat developing the Western Caribbean. So as I said, we will have to monitor the system. With that, I'm going to move on towards the latest model runs on this system, because as I said, the models are being consistent with this system developing within the next 5 days or so. So the first model that had picked up on this system we're going to be looking at, which was the GFS model, and followed by that is going to be the European, also the CMC, and all of those other models. So let's run the GFS model. So we continue to go far out into the future. When we get about 78 hours out, if you notice, an area of somewhat disorganized showers and thunderstorms activity is in the east western Caribbean. Now, this system is disorganized. You don't really see the system organized, but you do see the moisture content that the system has. So with that, we're going to continue to run the model. Now, when we get about around October 6th, we notice that the moisture content with this system increases also, and we see that we might potentially have a little low level center in that area. And the reason why I say that is because you could see the system is pulling up the moisture from out of the southwestern Caribbean and trying to form like a little organized center of circulation, but yet this system is getting disrupted by land because it's close to Honduras and Nicaragua. But the majority of the showers and thunderstorms activity are mainly focused offshore of Honduras. So this system might try to head into the Gulf of Honduras, and that's the area that I do anticipate development, as in this area the water temperatures are extremely warm. As a matter of fact, they're warm enough to support the development of a major hurricane, but I do doubt that right now. As we continue to run this model, we notice when we get 120 hours out, we see that the system gets organized, and we see that it somewhat has a closed off center of circulation in that area. And you can see the majority of the showers and thunderstorms activity are located just around the north of the center of circulation. So this system is moving towards the west at this time. So as this system continues to move towards the west, it still overwaters the warm water temperatures and also in a favorable environment, because you can see in that area there's much moisture and there's much warm water temperatures to allow the system to develop. So here's our system at this time, and this system might be a tropical depression or a tropical storm. The reason why I say that is because of the organized showers and thunderstorms activity, and also the inflow on this system. It seems generally strong at this point. So what we're going to do is continue to run the models. Now, as we continue to run the models, we see the system, a pressure pop up for the system. You notice the system is organized also at this point. The system gets more organized and stronger, and that's because the system is somewhat organizing, and it did organize over those warm water temperatures in front of Belize, just east of Belize City. So here's our system just to the south, just in southern Belize, but this system might start to take a northern track at this point. The reason why I say that is because I think there is going to be like a high pressure or something located in that area, which may allow the system to take that turn and start to move towards the northeast, taking a similar path that what last year it did. So let's continue to run the model on this system. So as we continue to run the models on this system, we see this system. Here's our system at this point. Our system is making landfall just in the southern Belize, and you can see the most of the showers and thunderstorms activity are focused on the northern half of this system. Here's the northern half of this system. You can see that it has those organized showers and thunderstorms activity. So now we're going to switch over towards the icon model to see what it has on this system. But on this model, that model that we're going to be running, we're mainly going to be looking at the velocity of this system. Now this is the latest icon model run, which is the 18Z run for the icon model. Now you can see this does not have anything at this point right now. It's currently this is the latest icon model run. Now as we continue to run the model, we don't see nothing pop up until we get about 81 hours out. When we get about 81 hours out on October 5th, we see a little disturbance in the Caribbean, definitely elongated, not yet focused on a center of circulation, and that might be trying to work on that. So The farther we get out into the future, we notice that this system moves exactly in the area that the GFS model previously showed this system making a landfall in. Now here's the system just east of the Belize city, and I might also say that this system is also a tropical storm because of the strong velocity on this system. The reason why I say that because the cyclonic vorticity seems to be mainly strong on this system. You could see that there might be a low level center in this area or either in this area. So there might be not a focused low level center, but still we do have an organized system with generally producing organized showers and thunderstorms activity as the GFS model showed. So we have our system just to the north of Belize, in making a landfall in Belize also, because you can see that this system is not much to the north, but you can still see that the models do support this system, that this system is going to be moving generally towards the west within the coming days, which means that there might be a tropical disturbance that might emerge out of this area and might start to move towards the west within the coming days. Regardless of what, we're going to have to continue to watch this system as models are showing this system organized within the coming days, so we're going to have to pay close attention to this system. So now we're going to head over towards the water temperatures to see how warm the water temperatures that this system might be headed in that could potentially allow this system to intensify. Now this is the latest water temperatures anomaly. Now here's it. This system is generally in a hot tub. The area that this system is going to be in and it's going to be headed in, I hate to say this, but the water temperatures are extremely warm. Nowhere in the Caribbean, literally nowhere in the Caribbean, has water temperatures below 30 degrees Celsius. And this was the same exact thing I was mentioning from the beginning of the hurricane season. I mentioned that the water temperatures, the cool water temperatures that we were seeing, would have changed, and I have not looked on this for a hot minute. You can see water temperatures are overwhelmingly hot, especially just to the east of Florida. And in the Gulf of Mexico, water temperatures are warm, but not as warm as it was. But it is getting sort of cool around the coast, like Louisiana and Texas and those areas. That might be because of some cold fronts that are sweeping through that area. And that's common, but if any storm heads in that area, development will still be anticipated, because you can see that in the Gulf of Mexico water temperatures are just above 29 degrees Celsius. So our system might be in this general area, and as I said, it's going to be taking a path like this. Now, the farther to the west this system heads, the more warmer water temperatures this system has to interact with, especially in front of Belize. Also, the ocean heat content, which is the water temperature stored below the ocean, is warm for development. So this system might organize if this system continues on that western track, and that's because environmental conditions seem to be favorable for some development of this system. Now, as I said, this system is not yet labeled by the National Hurricane Center, but it might be labeled soon. So guys, we're going to have to pay close attention to this system. And thank you guys for watching this video. I'm going to be issuing more forecasts on this system when the National Hurricane Center labels it. And until then, stay safe and peace out.